Hi, it's me again. And this one's been going around a bit, and it has been debunked now. It said it didn't happen. But it's an interesting one to talk about nonetheless. Did you see it? Loads of you sent me this one to talk about, so I thought I would. Did you see it? BBC merge with Channel 4, backed by TV boss amid licence fee crisis. BBC to merge with Channel 4 is an interesting one because they're both public service broadcasters. They both exist due to the government. It's interesting. The only difference between them really is the BBC, Channel 4 has to stand on its own 2 feet via advertising, which it manages to do. Whereas the BBC, it's dirty the way it's set up. The BBC that you pay your licence fee to is over here. They don't really make a lot or own the rights to a lot, really. All the stuff that's made by the BBC is over here in a company called BBC Studios, which is a private commercial company that sells shows all around the world. Also owns UK TV, also owns a couple of streaming services outright that show ads or charge subscriptions. They make the shows like Strictly, Doctor Who, Top Gear, all made over here and owned by BBC Studios. And they sell those shows for licence fee payers' money to this bit of the BBC that just shows them. It's a big con how they're getting away with it. So merging it with Channel 4, how would that work? How would that work? It would give the BBC the right to be commercial, probably, by doing that, which is something they'd love. Is it RTE in Ireland that does that, where you pay your licence fee to them, but they also show adverts as well? That is having your cake and eating it, isn't it? That's the BBC's dream. Tim Davie lays awake at night with a stiffy thinking of having a licence fee and adverts at the same time, I tell you. With 500,000 households a year cancelling their TV licences, that's good, isn't it? It sounds good, I like that. The BBC faces monumental financial challenges and may be forced to cut back with fewer resources in order to survive. They're always saying that. They're always saying we've got to make cuts this, cuts that. All they're doing is cutting programmes. Have you seen their offices? The main BBC building is just off Regent Street. It is bloody massive and in one of the most expensive parts of one of the most expensive cities in the world. It's not on a trading estate in Norfolk where it'd be cheaper to have everything. No, it's in one of the most expensive parts of the world. And they're just rebuilding, is it a tea room or something in Birmingham? The tea factory in Birmingham, that's multi tens of millions of pounds to set that up. Why do you need that then? Why do you need that? You're not cutting back on anything. The BBC are not cutting back on anything. The new EastEnders set tells you that when they spent 80 million quid building an EastEnders set. Where's these cutbacks? Where are these cutbacks? You talk about it and you're changing local radio to make it sound like you're doing cutbacks. They're actually not. They're trying to amalgamate local radio to be like Heart. You know how Heart bought up all the local stations? That's what they're trying to do. Where the fucking hell, sorry I swore, are these cutbacks? I'm not seeing any apart from programming, which is the one thing you should be doing. The future of public service broadcasting in the UK is at a crossroads and the corporation is exploring radical strategies. How about going commercial? How radical is that? Reportedly including a potential merger with Channel 4. Yeah, this is, like I say, Tim Davies come out and said we never had these chats, which, you know, if you're like me, probably means they did have the chats. That's how you'd think. But yeah, he said they didn't. Within days of her appointment as Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, that's her name now, I lose track of how many Culture Secretaries there's been over the last few years. I can't keep up with it. It's too many, isn't there? Visited the BBC Salford studios. Yeah, more studios up there. Yeah, got that as well. Where she met Hacker T-Dog, the puppet star of CBBC and the Light-Hearted Exchange. Okay. So, busy day at work, Lisa Nandy. Nandy said to the mischievous terrier, why am I reading this? Hacker, I don't know if you remember, but once you met why am I reading this? Why is she doing this? Do some work, Lisa Nandy. Here's a picture of them. Watching this exchange was the BBC's Director General, Tim Davie, who faces the critical what is this article? Can we just get to the bit, please? According to The Guardian, here we go. Negotiations are expected to begin in January regarding the future of the TV licence fee. So it's January, which will be 25. The charter expires in 27. You would need a really quick decision. it's possible that Lisa Nandy could say, that's it, you've had enough. You've had enough, go commercial, and you've got 2 years to implement it. It could be done. It's not going to be done, obviously, but it could be done. Whether it remains in its current form or transitions to a subscription model or is replaced by a new tax, it's going to be the new tax, isn't it? Because there's 500,000 people a year stopping paying the BBC. They need a way to stop that. And I hope they don't get it. I hope they don't get it. One of the most radical ideas being considered is a merger between the BBC and Channel 4. This move would combine the two publicly controlled broadcasters and add £1 billion in revenue to the BBC's balance sheet, which I'm guessing would be the commercial aspect of Channel 4. So the BBC take over Channel 4, keep Channel 4 running as Channel 4 and show ads on it as they are. So now the BBC is proper commercial. But all the revenue from Channel 4 is going to go into funding the beloved BBC, and Channel 4 is going to go to absolute shit and basically become BBC Plus One, where they're just showing repeats all the time. That's what will happen. I quite like Channel 4, and Channel 4 has put out some good shows. In the last 10 years, I can say a lot of good shows I've watched on Channel 4, on all four, obviously, not as they're being broadcast. You know I stick by the rules. I can't name any of the BBCs. Not that I watch the BBC, but I've been in people's houses when it's been on, and I look in listings and stuff. No, can't name any. Such a deal would secure the long-term future of public service broadcasting in the UK. But Channel 4 is already a public service broadcaster. ITV is also a public service broadcaster, if you didn't know. Do they beg you for money? Or do they make their own money through making good shows, which bring in viewers, which bring in advertisers? Why can't the BBC do it? Reforming the BBC has to include reforming Channel 4. So ruining it, obviously. The big debate is not about who is sitting in what desk at what building. No, because Tim Davie wants the lot. You could get rid of a lot of the technical side, the admin, the HR, finance, all that stuff can go. The only thing you'd keep is the sales team for a while, he added. Yeah, they'd be merged into... We all know how wasteful the BBC is with staff. I don't even need to comment on it. It's just open knowledge that the BBC has far too many staff. Another television executive has reportedly mentioned that the BBC has looked at a potential merger where Channel 4 would operate as a semi-independent entity under BBC Studios, not under the BBC. BBC Studios, a privately owned commercial company that I talked about earlier. However, the BBC has denied these discussions. So make of that what you will. So Tim Davie did put out a thing, I don't know if I've got it here, no, saying that that's not true, we're not talking about it, it's not going to happen. Here it says they're going to start discussing it in January. So in my opinion, they'll be discussing it in January. I just don't understand. I like Channel 4. Channel 4's all right. It's not brilliant, but what is brilliant, you know. But it's all right, and they've made some good stuff over the years, Channel 4. And they've made it off their own back using their own money. All right, there's some government funding in there, but most of their money comes from being commercial. Why is the BBC above it? Why are they being held up on a pedestal above being commercial? I know they get, it's probably like 6 or so billion. I need to find out. It went before the license fee went up. It was just over 4 billion they got from license fee revenue. So we'll stick with that number for now. ITV's close, very close. They're in the 3 billion mark for revenue, and they make all their own stuff. Unlike, well, not all of it, but you know what I mean. They make more of it than the BBC do, because the BBC stuff's made in studios. They buy it. Just show ads, please. What do you think about this? What do you think? You think this will happen? Let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Hit all the buttons and everything while you're leaving your thoughts. Finally hit 100,000 subs. Very happy about it. Thank you so much. If you aren't subbed, hit the button. If you are subbed, check. Make sure you haven't been unsubbed, because that does happen sometimes. And hopefully I'll see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da!